Here's a live look at NATO headquarters in Brussels. In just over an hour, the flag of Finland will be raised at the building for the very first time. Finland is set to join the military alliance this morning, becoming the 31st member state. NATO foreign ministers, including Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly, are meeting today in Brussels as well. Joly spoke to reporters last hour.
Finland and Sweden's accession. We call on Turkey and Hungary to ratify without delay. And we believe with Finland and soon-to-be Sweden's accession, we will have a very strong alliance and we will be able to deal with the biggest challenges that NATO has faced.
And for more on Finland's accession to NATO, let's go to Abby Kukarasen. She's tracking the story for us in London. Good morning, Abby. What can we expect in Brussels today?
Chris, an historic day, not only because it's the 74th anniversary of NATO, but because it's about to welcome Finland. The Finnish flag will be raised outside a NATO headquarters in Brussels. Again, as you mentioned, in just over an hour's time. Certainly a momentous day because Helsinki has long maintained a policy of non-alignment. But February 24th triggered a massive shift in public opinion. This is a country that shares a 1,300-kilometer plus border with Russia, and it watched the Kremlin launch a full-scale invasion of another sovereign neighbor. Now, most Finns want the collective protection of NATO through Article 5, which says an attack on one is an attack on all. I spoke with former Finnish Prime Minister Alexander Stubb, and he says Finland will also be an asset to the alliance.
We have always had a military which is basically prepared for a Russian attack. That is the reason why we have a mandatory military service. We have 900,000 men and women in reserves, including myself. We have 280,000 men and women that we can mobilize in wartime. That's more than most, if not all, European countries. We have 62 F-18s and just bought another 64 F-35s, and we have one of the most sophisticated air-to-land, land-to-air missile defense systems. So, don't worry about us. We'll protect you.
And it's worth noting that Finland spends more than 2% of its GDP on defense. That's a NATO target that most member states, Chris, don't hit.
And Abby, we heard Minister Joly mention Sweden's NATO bid. Their application has still not been approved. Where does the situation stand?
We know that all NATO members must ratify any candidate, and Turkey and Hungary, as Melanie Joly mentioned, there are the holdouts right now when it comes to Sweden. Ankara has been more vocal about its objections. Turkish President Recep Erdogan said that he wants Stockholm to extradite more than 100 Kurds, people he considers terrorists. Analysts say Erdogan's delay here is possibly linked to domestic politics, actually, that there's an election in Turkey next month, and he's looking to show his electorate that he's a strong leader. Stubb believes that Sweden's wait will soon be over.
I think Sweden has become a little bit of a, how would I say, button in a chess game. And I'm confident that Sweden will be a full member of NATO by the summit meeting in Vilnius in the beginning of July. And I sort of jokingly tell my Swedish friends, whom I wanted to join with together, that listen, guys, you've been neutral for 200 years. You can wait another 2 months.
He also said that Finland is an absolute heavyweight on land and in the air, but he said Sweden is a titan at sea, and Stockholm's entry into NATO would only further strengthen the alliance. NATO officials, including Jens Stoltenberg, have said in the past they expect Sweden to become a member of the alliance very soon, Chris.
All right, Abby Kukarasen, thank you so much reporting for us from London.